Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the James Beard-nominated SOM TV podcast. I'm your host, Jason Wise. Everybody has a McDonald's story. We all grew up with it. We've all eaten there many times. We all have an opinion about its food and its policies and everything else. But I'm going to tell you, every country where they serve McDonald's is different. And the menu at every one of those places reflects a lot of culture in the place that they're serving it and the place it came from, which is the United States. On today's podcast, I am speaking to my friend, Gary He, who has a double James Beard-nominated book where he traveled to 55 countries, documenting the different menus and the different cultural influences at every McDonald's in those countries. It is one of my favorite books of the year, and we are going to chart him through the James Beard Awards today. He's nominated twice, and we're also going to talk to him about his book and how McDonald's has ebbed and flowed and changed for the countries that it exists in. It is a fantastic, fantastic book, and I hope all of you, at the end of this, race to get it. We're going to see if Gary can pull off a rare feat to win 2 James Beard Awards for the same book in one night. We're going to find out. Before we get to my conversation with Gary, I do want to tell all of you, we've extended our 50% off our Blinders card game. The reaction has been insane. I am really so happy to hear how many of you are now playing Blinders. We're giving it away for 50% off. This is a card game where everyone brings their own bottle of wine, you blind taste together. If you go to blindersgame.com, you can get Blinders. We have 3 different decks, the starter deck, a red deck, and a white deck for 50% off. Go to blindersgame.com. Without further ado, from the James Beard Awards here in Chicago, Gary He of the McAtlas. Gary, this has been a year, 2 years coming, having you on this podcast, talking about this book. I can't overstate how excited and honored, and frankly, how awesome this feels to sit across from you, you wonderful man. Gary, how do we even start the journey of what it took for you to get the idea and come up with writing the McAtlas? Double James Beard nominated book.
Hey, it's great to see you again. Year after year. Gotta pick some new people.
I know, that's right. I should mention we are at the James Beard Awards. They're happening this evening. I'm going to kind of pop in during this story with following you throughout this process. You were nominated for 2 awards tonight for this book. And this book, stop me if I'm doing this right or wrong. This is a global atlas of McDonald's in 52 countries. Is that correct?
Over 50, somewhere between 50 and 55. I kind of lost track of it.
Okay. And it charts kind of what they serve, what the place looks like, where it's located. I couldn't even believe the photos of China and what the McDonald's look like in China. So let's start this with, why did you leave your freelance writing job, and why did you leave the New York Times to write a book about McDonald's?
Oh, I didn't leave the New York Times.
Okay.
That was a freelance project, which was really fun. Which is, I believe, the last time I saw you, right?
That's right. Yeah.
2 years ago. I mean, basically, I was going overseas and hitting up McDonald's, kind of like for the bit, for years and years. And then there was at one point, I was in Morocco during Ramadan. And then just walked in to like break the fast, and there was like a Ftour meal kit, which is the meal kit or meal that they use to break the fast in the evening during sunset, like with full-on like Arabic motifs. And then they had dates, chabakia, which is like a local pastry. They had a harira soup, a yogurt milk drink, and I just said, this is so different than like anything I would ever expect at a McDonald's. I need to do some research and see what's available online about this sort of thing. Nothing. And so I said, okay, what else is out there that is not being kind of documented or chronicled from the largest restaurant chain in the world? I mean, I thought it was ridiculous that no one was taking this subject matter seriously. And so I said, okay, maybe I can be the person who kind of goes around the world and documents this stuff. Because it was super interesting. Obviously grew up with McDonald's, huge fan, I guess, of eating it when I was a kid. And
did you ever have a birthday party at McDonald's? I remember when I was young, that was a thing. Growing up in Ohio, it'd be very cool if you had your birthday at McDonald's when you were in like first grade.
Never. I mean, I grew up super poor.
Yeah, so. I can't say that I didn't have a house in the Hamptons either. But
yeah, but
that's why we were having birthdays at McDonald's.
Exactly. But I mean, growing up, McDonald's was like a reward for getting good grades. And going into adulthood, when I was at NYU, I was surviving off of like the dollar menu. There was a McDonald's across the street from NYU on Broadway and West 4th Street, and I would just eat, dollar menu double cheeseburgers and chicken fajitas
So you're at NYU and you're living off the dollar menu, and I mean I think this is kind of how McDonald's is for a lot of us at a certain age. Is like it's a means to an end. Here's
I mean, everyone has a McDonald's story, right? Like I grew up with it as a reward for getting good grades, and when I was in college, I survived off of the dollar menu, and then I would visit McDonald's when I was overseas. As like a comfort food, right? Because it was familiar. And so in doing that, I kind of discovered these localized menu items. And, as I was saying, at first I would visit these McDonald's overseas kind of like as a bit. Like, oh, look at these localized menu items. Isn't it funny that there is like a baguette, big baguette in France, right? But then, you look at it deeper and deeper, and especially after that Ramadan store meal in Morocco, I started taking it more seriously. I said, okay, there's something going on here culturally, right? Because I think the assumption is that the multinational company kind of goes into these markets and imposes its will. And there's like McDonald's always gets criticized for this like cultural imperialism, soft power kind of move. But actually they have to adjust their menu offerings and their spaces in order to adapt to the local, right? The locals actually, the local people and the customers actually have the ultimate say in whether a brand like McDonald's has any success in their market. And so I thought it was super interesting. And so I started taking the subject matter seriously, maybe too seriously.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, look, people have to understand this book is, it's gorgeous. It is big. It is hardbound. It is full of photography and writing that is, honestly, I think pretty deep. The stuff that you write about in this book is not, this isn't just a menu. I mean, you're talking, it's cultural. It is a very, very expansive situation. I want to ask, so aside from, look, I've been to Paris, France many times and been to Mexico City's McDonald's, and it's like, wow, they have pizza. That's as far as I've gone. Like, oh my God, there's tacos at this McDonald's. Oh my God, I'm trying to think what some of the craziest stuff I've seen. I remember seeing chicken wings and I was blown away. What are some of the things just off the top of your head that you have seen at McDonald's that have been just would blow people's minds?
I mean, I think the one I bring up all the time is the McSpaghetti, which when I ask people, where do you think the McSpaghetti is? They would say,
Italy,
right? But no, it's the Philippines because it's based off of like Jollibee's Jolly Spaghetti, which is a sweet marinara spaghetti with like chopped up hot dogs, which is a local recreation of like the spaghetti bolognese, like military meal kits from the kind of colonial era.
World War, from
American
like colonialism.
Yeah, like post-war kind of presence, right? And it became such a staple product and it became part of the taste that it was so popular at kids' birthday parties in the Philippines that Jollibee ended up adding it to the menu. And then when McDonald's finally entered the market, they said, well, we can't give up kids' birthday parties. Like that's kind of our core demographic for like kind of building up a lifetime of affinity for the brand. And so naturally the McSpaghetti was born, still there to this very day.
See, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, how you can pull out cultural and historical things from just a meal like chopped up hot dogs in a sweet marinara sauce with spaghetti. A lot of Americans don't even know that the Philippines was property of the United States from the Spanish Civil War, Spanish-American War, all the way to World War II and then post, where they essentially fought a guerrilla war against us to get their freedom. Mm-hmm. And people don't even know that. And so for you to say there is a dish at this McDonald's that has whispers of coming from that is staggering, honestly. It is an incredible, it's just an incredible thing. What else? So the mixed spaghetti in the Philippines.
Well, other items that I think are interesting are like the macarons in France, right? Like it started off in the Mac Cafe in France. It's a French cultural item, but it became so popular there that they started selling it in all these other McDonald's markets. And so McDonald's isn't even just like the vehicle for disseminating like American food culture anymore, right? It's like there's a French cultural food item that is now being served in McDonald's all around the world. And not only that, the company that produces the macarons for McDonald's is the parent company of La Durée.
Oh, Holder. Really?
Yeah, it's literally like, cheaper La Durée macarons being served out of McDonald's all around the world. Like Holder, which is the name of the company, they had to like build these bakeries around the world in order to be able to like manage the supply and the production of these products for McDonald's, right? It's a big part of their business is making macaroons for McDonald's around the world. And so it's no longer even, like McDonald's is no longer even what it started out as, which is like the idea of like, oh yeah, we're just gonna kind of do this like cultural imperialism, American soft power around the world type business. It's now kind of spreading these other countries' cultural items and cultural foods, right? Like churros, for example, are now in Turkey, in South Korea, in Japan, served in McDonald's. That is not an American cultural product.
Interesting. I just think about like the scene in Pulp Fiction, obviously, which came out when I was very formidable, and they're talking about what they call a Big Mac, and in French is Le Big Mac.
The Big Mac.
And what they call a quarter pounder with cheese, they have the metric system and all that.
Yeah.
But like the depth of which this goes, France is easy, Rome's easy. And obviously you've traveled to all these places, I would assume.
Yeah.
50 plus countries over how many years of going to McDonald's?
The project's been going on for, probably like 6 or 7 years, but the bulk of the travel with this very specific style of photography and the whole point of the trip being, okay, I'm going to go to a McDonald's. It's about 3 years.
Okay.
So my body hurts. It's still hurting. It'll hurt less if there are medallions around my neck.
Yes, if you win this beard awards.
But it was worth it because I think, a lot of people have reached out and said, well, I never thought about this subject matter this way. Like this really opened my eyes on, on something that I consume on a regular basis. I didn't think that it would be so different around the world, or that it had this sort of impact, or that other cultures kind of treated McDonald's differently, right? Because it is a higher end product and experience overseas. In America, we really want it to be as cheap and as fast as possible, right? Like the drive-through and delivery business is like core to McDonald's business in the United States. Whereas overseas, you might see people lingering around in the restaurants for hours on end.
They go out to dinner.
Yeah. It's actually used as like a third space, right, or third place, whatever it may be. Yeah, it's definitely a different experience and restaurant around the world, and so I found that super interesting. And
before we get into some more places, and I really want to talk about China, I want to talk about India, I want to talk about any of these places where I think the culture is so different. For instance, if you're in India, a lot of that population is vegetarian, so I'm curious what a McDonald's looks like in a place like that. But when you went to all these places, did you find that everybody really liked McDonald's, or were there places where they were totally ambivalent to McDonald's? Were there places where it was just, I'm curious how obsessed they are with it, or, and what countries cared the most about this restaurant?
McDonald's is popular in all these countries, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why, it's kind of growing in all these different markets. It's funny because, you would think in the Middle East that they would hate McDonald's over there, but, Saudi Arabia is like one of the largest markets in that region. It's like over 500 stores, and it's home to the Macarabia chicken, which is like a pita, like a shawarma, almost a shawarma sandwich using the chicken patties in McDonald's.
And they chop them up, or?
No, it's just full-on patties, like 2 patties with tomatoes, lettuce, and like white sauce in a pita. And that item kind of emerged in Saudi Arabia, during our Iraq War era, when there was a lot of anxiety in the Middle East over, American brands and companies.
Sure.
And so they launched this product to kind of ensure or reassure locals that, oh yeah, no, it's fine. This is a local brand. Like, continue loving us, please. And then you kind of see it playing out again more recently during the Gaza-Israeli conflict that's been going on. There was a huge boycott
of McDonald's
in Muslim majority countries, to the point where even the global CEO, kind of admitted, hey, there is a measurable hit to our business, and they ended up buying back the Israeli franchise so they can better kind of control the messaging and the activity that was going on over there. So it's very interesting stuff.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, that is so fascinating. When you were in Israel, what kind of food did they have at the McDonald's there?
Oh, there's a lot of interesting food. First off, they have kosher McDonald's. So the ice cream the ice cream portion. The McFlurry.
It's non-dairy. Huh?
I mean, you can't even have them in the same kitchen. But the McFlurry hustle is like so profitable, you can't not have the McFlurry or like ice cream. And so they contain that part in like a glass box within the restaurant, and they kind of consider it like a different part of the restaurant, or like that it's a different restaurant altogether. And you're not allowed to kind of bring that ice cream in and eat it in the area where people are eating beef.
Yeah, you can't meat and dairy can't mix.
Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting. And I think there's something like 69 kosher McDonald's in Israel. And they have they have the kebab burger. They have like corn sticks, which because so many Israelis are, I believe, vegan, and like corn sticks are something that's sold in supermarkets there. It's like a children's like favorite kind of treat that they also sell at McDonald's.
So I read something where when McDonald's implemented breakfast to go longer, the egg supply in America took a dip. It's like that's how much of that they have to figure out their supply chain.
Oh yeah, they don't add anything to their menu in a trivial way because it moves the market. They have, I mean, even in the U.S., it's 14,000 stores, and so when people kind of complain, oh, why don't we have this international menu item available in the U.S.? I'm like, do you not understand supply chains? Like 14,000 stores is a lot of stores. Like even if you added blueberries to like yogurt in McDonald's, you would kind of tank the blueberry market. Like you would not be able to buy blueberries in Whole Foods anymore because McDonald's would literally take all the blueberries.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about China. So did you start going, all right, I'll do the Western and maybe some of the Asian stuff, or where did you start with your travels? Because I find it to be that you ended up, the China stuff blows my mind. The fact that, the things that you told me last year over Portillo's hot dogs after the James Beard Award, when I first found out about this book. So tell me, where did you start and how did it progress? Did this become oh my God, I want to find crazier places. I want to go farther. Or did you have it all mapped out?
Because of the amount of travel involved, Google Maps was my friend. I would just Google an area, find all the McDonald's, and click around to different McDonald's, use Street View to like digitally drive around and see what angles were available, or like if there are any interesting buildings. And so this was all mapped out beforehand because I couldn't just like arrive in a country and like walk around and finding McDonald's, because that would just be like a super drain of resources on top of 55 countries worth of travel, which is quite a significant amount. And so it was everything. When I left for a trip, I knew exactly what I was going to hit. And if I happened to find something that I didn't see online, great, cool, that's a bonus. But everything was mapped out. And so I started off in Europe because, the trains there are pretty helpful. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to kind of get around most of Europe via train. And then Asia, I kind of did, Japan, I went back like 3-4 times, and China twice, kind of back and forth on the same trip into the Pacific. And China was super interesting. I mean, such a giant country, and Americans don't really have an eye inside China. That it was just so fascinating. And McDonald's is basically a different restaurant there. If they didn't have the golden arches on top of those buildings, you would guess it was like a local brand.
Is McDonald's involved at all in the McDonald's of China?
Sure it is, but in markets like China and Japan, it's what is called a international development licensee, where the local controller kind of calls the shots because it's such a large market, and like kind of the understanding of that market lies with the local people. And so that's why they get away with maybe more wacky or foreign menu items.
Like what? What's a Chinese wacky foreign?
I mean, when I was in China, I saw marinated chicken bones. I remember growing up, my mom would, when we were eating fish, she would chew the hell out of like the fish head, like sucking out every last morsel of protein out of the bones, right? Basically turning the bones into dust. It's like such a Chinese, like rural thing to do. And so when I went to McDonald's China, I saw that at night, they were offering a box full of chicken cartilage, tail bones, rib cage, just deep fried with a little bit of.
And people chew the bones. You just chew the
Yeah,
marrow out.
you just chew it and suck out whatever bits of meat and protein are available. I mean, it's a thing.
Americans couldn't fathom going and buying a rib cage at McDonald's.
No. I mean, and that item is in the book because I thought, that was such a super localized menu item. There's no way you could sell it in most other markets, right? But in China, it was pretty popular.
Yeah. What about fish? I imagine fish has to be something you see a lot more of outside of the United States at these McDonald's.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I haven't really seen anything deviating from the Filet-O-Fish patty.
Uh-huh.
I mean, certainly it's different types of white fish around the world, but you will see shrimp patties in markets like Japan, right? They have a sandwich called the ebi filet-o, which is similar to the Filet-O-Fish, but with a shrimp patty instead.
Okay.
Delicious.
I bet it is, actually. That probably is delicious. Fried shrimp on a patty like that can't be bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about different animals
Sure.
or novel animals at McDonald's menus around the world, Hungary actually had goose meat and foie gras at some point.
Goose meat.
Yeah. Wow. It was called the pulled poly. It was pulled goose meat in a sandwich, and it was available for like a limited time.
It's their McRib kind of thing?
I've never seen it come back. I think it was like a one-time thing that they did for kind of novelty purposes to see if anyone would care.
I just like the idea of people in Hungary chasing the pole poly, the goose, the goose sandwich.
I mean, they love duck, and I mean, it's the second largest producer of like foie in the world after France.
I was going to say France, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's super popular in Hungary.
The lifespan in Hungary, you live to be 27, I've read, which is nice. No, that's all right. So, what other kind of animals? Goose. I would never have picked that. Seeing it at McDonald's. Anything else strange?
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it always makes me sad. There's not like frog legs in France or something like that.
I wish.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that would make my job super easy.
Right.
But I almost kind of like that it isn't that easy because, it's interesting to see how you take these like local menu items and tastes and like convert them into like McDonald's style products, because food is never static, right? It's constantly evolving, right? Even the stuff that we consider like quote unquote Chinese food or like Japanese food here in America, that a lot of that was like created in the past like 100, maybe even 50 years, right? And so, and when you go to those countries, like a lot of times it's speeding up, right? A lot of the things that we like about those countries' foods are now being like kind of packaged to go. And so kind of seeing it happen in a single company like McDonald's, right? Like how does like nasi lemak, which is like a Malaysian and Indonesian like rice, anchovy, and egg dish turn into the nasi lemak burger? Like how does that kind of evolve? Like that's super interesting to me because food isn't static, and I kind of wanted to introduce that idea, or at least reinforce that idea in the minds of the readers.
What's the genre of this book? Is it a travelogue? Is it a food book? Is it a culture book? Like what? You have to pigeonhole this.
I mean, no, all of the above.
Yeah.
And because it's not like one category, I mean, that's why it ended up having to be self-published, right? I don't think any publisher would have looked at this and said, oh yeah, sure, I'll take it, right? Because it's so many different things at once that it kind of like melts brains it melts the brains of the paper pushers,
sure,
who are trying to figure out like, oh, what's the best way to make money off of this? Like, I don't care if I make money off of this book.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't lie to me. Yes, you do. You have worked for years and years on this thing. I want to interrupt you and tell everybody listening to this. This book is not only is it the single best idea for a book I have heard.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
10, 20 years. It also lives up to the hype. Like when you told me about this, I was like, this is too good to be true. It's like in one sentence, you can say, I went to McDonald's in 50 plus countries, traveled there, took photos, talked about the culture. And there is this, I want to use the word coffee table book, but however you want to describe this beautiful inlaid picture book that you could also spend a lot of time reading and absorbing. And it's rare that something that good. I mean, we joked last night that the film Predator is the only thing I can think of where you can say one sentence and it's like, Marines go into the jungle to kill people and they find out they're being hunted by an alien. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I go to 55 countries and I take a look at all of the different meals at the different McDonald's in different countries and expand on that, I'm like, I am in. That is such a good premise, and it lives up. So if you're listening to this, you have to get the McAtlas. It's a great gift. It is like, this is not sponsored. This is like, you need to buy this book. It is like the book for the year.
You're very kind. Thank you.
I'm serious, Gary. This is great. I want to close this out. We're going to follow you because you and I are both nominated tonight at the James Beard.
Oh, congratulations, by the way.
Myself, thank you. Well, you're nominated twice for this book.
This is third in a row for you.
If we win, it would be the third in a row. Yeah, it would be incredible. But we're gonna sort of quasi follow you tonight a little bit. I'm gonna pop in and see how things are going. If you win, and we're gonna record the audio. And I just want to know how you're feeling about being nominated twice for this book.
I mean, it's awesome to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. It's the James Beard Awards are a serious thing in the industry, and easily recognizable. And so to be back and to be nominated for a project that took this long to do is an incredible honor. But I also feel like there's an opportunity tonight because the awards kind of gathers the brightest minds in food and food media. I think there's an opportunity to kind of give everyone a copy of McAtlas, right, and make sure put the work in their hands, win or lose. And so I'm going to do that tonight.
Yeah.
Everyone. I'm going to Oprah the McAtlas. Everyone is going to get a copy of McAtlas.
You are giving out hundreds and hundreds of copies of this book tonight, which of course I'm going to be watching and recording you do this because I just think it's an incredible stunt.
I mean, these people are like the luminaries of our industry, right? Like, why wouldn't I want to have them have a copy of the book, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we're going to do this.
Everybody who sees this book is going to go, damn, why didn't I do this? It is such a good idea.
Because they would have perished.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I came so close to perishing so many times because you should not travel that much eating fast food, even though like the food quality and the experience is quite different overseas.
All right, well, before we get our suits on and get ready for this award ceremony this evening, what's McDonald's response been to this?
Overseas franchisees are pretty excited, especially if they're in the book. And I think in general, they are excited that...
But you didn't do this with them. This was completely you.
No, I mean, this is I wanted the journalism to be clean. So they didn't even let me go to their worldwide conventions where all these franchisees go every 2 years, right? Like multiple times I've tried to go because it would have been an easy place to interview people about, why is this thing localized this way, et cetera. And they never even got back to me, or they just said no. I think once they said, oh yeah, no, we're not interested. I was like, okay, great. McDonald's around the world are open for people to walk into and buy food and photograph, and so I did that, And so I think that's just what journalism is, right? If you can't get an official response, you go and dig it out yourself and put it together and story tell that way. And so we did that. And so I think that there's a lot of criticism, and I think of the company and the brand from journalists. And so I think they must be
a little gun shy about it.
Yeah. They but also like now that they've seen the product and they've seen it's like a pretty neutral book, I can't imagine they're too angry that they kind of got away with having someone document them so closely and have it be like relatively neutral, not something they have to like fend off.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll ever endorse, a rogue photojournalist kind of going around the world
covering McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't think they're in the business of creating like de facto spokespeople for their brand that do not work for them.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
Yeah, which is fine. I like my independence, and I like being. I will never take their money for like some sort of SponCon type deal. It's I'd rather just be an independent journalist, like working on.
Cut to a dump truck of money being dropped on your front lawn. We'll see how that goes.
Listen, my price is a brownstone in the nice part of Brooklyn.
I love
if anyone's listening.
We grew up poor, and I can only go to McDonald's on special occasions. I want a brownstone fully paid for.
I'm just kidding, kind of. Sort of kidding. Being a journalist is very important. And so, keeping your integrity and not, taking those kind of brand deals, I think is pretty important, even after, the project is done.
Yeah. Well, if McDonald's, if you're listening, I am for sale.
This man has more James Beards than I do, so like this is the guy to hire over here.
Well, that'll change after tonight. But the last thing, because we do have to get ready for the awards. Last thing is, just name a few things where you really, really loved what you had. Because I want to know, like, if you had your own value meal, what would you put in it from, you got 55 countries worth of food. Did you have anything where you're like, this was truly mind-blowing, really great? Was at a McDonald's, but, something maybe a little foreign. What were your favorite things you had?
I mean, I always tell people on the Mount Rushmore, the head of the Mount Rushmore of McDonald's localized menu items has got to be the egg bulgogi burger in South Korea. That is incredible. There's also like a corn pie a la mode in Thailand. That's pretty incredible. And,
and marinated chicken bones, of course.
Marinated chicken bones were actually quite delicious. Joe Bastianich actually has a collab with McDonald's in Italy where he releases a new line of burgers every single year that have crazy localized ingredients like Asiago, like DOP cheeses and meats in them. And those are extremely delicious. So worth checking out.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to be talking to you in a couple minutes here at the awards. So I got to get dressed, and man, I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, time to put on pants.
So we're all arriving here. We're all dressed up. We're ready. It's loud and crazy. I don't know if any of you have been to these awards, but they are filled with a lot of tension. You can kind of feel it in the room. We're nominated, so we're feeling it ourselves, of course, but there are a lot of people in this room who are the next generation that are going to shape the food and wine world, and you can just feel the energy in this place. It's really incredible. They are serving hot Italian beef sandwiches, and there's a full ice cream bar for us in the lobby here as we're waiting to walk in, and looks like they're calling us. We're walking up. And here we go.
I want to express our heartfelt thanks to our proud hosts at Choose Chicago and the Illinois Restaurant Association.
The host this year is Padma Lakshmi, so we're in for a treat.
Whose honoring of migrant roots of American food formed the backbone of her Emmy-nominated show, Taste the Nation.
All right, I see Gary. He's sitting across the room. We're all assigned seats, so we're all in different places. Unfortunately, our category came up, which is this podcast that you're listening to, and we didn't win. But the guys who did, they are, like I said, the next generation. This is a very, very incredible room to be in. The energy is insane. We'll get him next year. All right, Gary's up now, and he's double nominated, 2 award categories in a row. Here we go.
And the winner is McAtlas.
So much for this. I did not prepare a speech, even though I lied to Anna Mandelbaum earlier, and I said I did. This thing goes for, I think, 2 more hours, and everyone in here is sober, so we're just gonna blow through it. I want to thank God. I want to thank my mother. Tomorrow's Father's Day, so I want to thank my father. It takes a village to do a book, even though it says self-published. So thank you to everyone that worked on the book. I have an army of friends who supported me from the very beginning and to the day it was published. Ethan Moses, checking in on me every single day while I was on the road. It was crazy, just traveling 55 countries. Andrew Kelly, John Manchillo, like Pulitzer Prize winners dragging boxes of books for me through the city. As promised, win or lose, there are copies of McAtlas waiting for you outside.
This is an unprecedented thing. I'm here in the audience. Just everybody is, he's got a lot of friends here. He's written for so many different publications, the New York Times, and knows everybody. Last night we were out with the folks at Eater and some people from different publications, and everybody just has the most glowing things to say about him. For how much work he put on the McAtlas and how many places they traveled, I am beside myself with how happy I am for Gary. Now what he's going to do is he's going to give away his books out front of the awards to everybody who's here. So we're going to go check in with that and kind of see how this goes and get a reaction from him on how this is all playing out in his brain. All right, so the James Beard Awards are over here, and I'm outside where Gary, who we just interviewed, won 2 awards in one night for the same book, further solidifying what I believed when I interviewed him, that this is a tremendous achievement. People should get it. I'm going to talk to Gary. You got to see the scene out here. Gary is passing out books from a U-Haul van, and there are boxes everywhere. hundreds and hundreds of books to anybody who was nominated or at the James Beard Awards. And I think it's one of the craziest stunts I've seen in a long time. All right, Gary, well, now it's over. You won both awards.
Crazy. My brain is still mush. Haven't processed yet. I'm sure I'll cry later in my hotel room.
Are you thinking about going to McDonald's at all?
McDonald's right now is closed. That McDonald's HQ with the global menu, it's closed right now because they have a parade out front that shut down the restaurant for the evening. So I think I'm going to do what we did last year when you won, which is go to Portillo's and get an Italian beef and a fully loaded hot dog.
Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. Congratulations. Everybody needs to get this book. Tell people where to get it.
Mcatlas.com and all the independent bookstores that carry it are listed there. Or if you want to go to a big box store, it's listed there also.
Oh boy, I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Obviously, get our friend Gary's book. It's just one of a kind. It's one of the best ideas I've heard of in the food space. So fun. And he did it without even being associated with McDonald's, which is just so ballsy. So I got to give it to Gary. Now he's ahead of us. That's what happens when you win 2 James Beard Awards in one night. We're very proud of him. You can get his book, and you should seek that out. Also, don't forget to get Blinders, our card game. It's 50% off at blindersgame.com. And if you're not a Som TV subscriber, you should be. We have a brand new feature film coming. Tons of new content. Every week there is new content. New blind tasting sessions, new drink a bottle. And we have an educational piece on the Côte de Nuit Grand Cru Burgundy that's coming very soon on Som TV. So subscribe, go to somtv.com and type in SomTV50. SomTV50 at somtv.com and get 50% off your subscription. This episode is produced by John Adams, who is here with me right now. I want to thank him enormously. I want to thank Gary, who is very, very busy promoting McAtlas and with the awards, who took some time to talk to us. And I want to thank you for listening. If you love this podcast, please give us a great review wherever you listen. And go to McDonald's. Eat something weird. Drink something nice. We'll talk next week. Thank you.